Meaner than evil. One of Kevin Costner's best quotes, as John Dutton makes Kayce's freedom in Yellowstone's ending better. Kevin Costner's Yellowstone patriarch, John Dutton, has more memorable quotes than any other character in Taylor Sheridan's flagship show. But one line in particular retroactively enhances the show's controversial ending. The neo-Western drama has spawned a number of in-development spin-offs and hit prequel series, underscoring how influential the show was in revitalizing the Western genre. While its sprawling vistas and cowboy action provide a measure of escapist pleasure for modern audiences, the Dutton family at Yellowstone Center operates in shades of gray, elevating the show's emotional and dramatic impact. No character embodies the anti-hero archetype more than Costner's elder Dutton, who works the entire series to preserve his ranch and his family's long-standing way of life. He's willing to use questionable methods to execute his will, but he does still have a moral center that keeps him closer to the straight and narrow than to evil. Of his many memorable one-liners, one stands out that speaks to his family's anti-heroic nature. And while it came 2 seasons earlier, it retroactively makes the show's ending more meaningful. Season 3 of Yellowstone ended with the 3 key Duttons all coming under attack at the same time. And while all 3 survived, it was a grim reminder of the evil in the world that sought to tear their ranch and family apart. One episode earlier, John delivered what proved to be a prophetic line to his son Kayce, as they discussed the horrible business of keeping their land out of the hands of those who would corrupt and destroy it. The title of episode 9 is Meaner Than Evil, and it's pulled directly out of John's words to Kayce. With Yellowstone fans now aware of the family's history, thanks to 1883 and 1923, it's clear that it's a creed that has driven every Dutton that has lived in Paradise Valley since James Dutton settled there. They understand that the world is a desperate, ruthless place, and the only way to survive is to be willing to fight and scrap with the same ruthlessness. As John believes, you may need to do things that might eat at a good person's conscience, and make that personal sacrifice every day to protect yourself, your way of life, and your family. Fortunately for Kayce, he found a way to move forward with both his family and his soul intact, and in the process managed to ensure that his family's legacy would be preserved in the purest state possible. In lieu of continuing his father's bitter and bloody battle against the legion forces of greed and hunger that desired the Yellowstone Ranch, Kayce sold the ranch, for virtually nothing, to Thomas Rainwater and the Broken Rock tribe, with the explicit condition that it be preserved in its natural state, even if that meant tearing down everything the Duttons had built there. While the Yellowstone series finale was of course forced earlier than it was ever intended, it still managed to at least wrap up the fate of the Dutton Ranch in a satisfying manner. Just as was prophesied at the end of 1883, the land that the Dutton Ranch sat on returned to its original owners, the Black Rock tribe, themselves descendants of the Crow people that originally hunted the valley. Kayce managed to find a way to win without having to be meaner than evil, reconciling his own violent nature with his desire to be a good man. Kevin Costner's portrayal of John Dutton in Yellowstone gave fans some of the most profound and hard-hitting quotes in modern television. But few lines resonate as deeply as, "You gotta be meaner than evil, and still love your family." This simple yet powerful statement is more than just advice. It encapsulates the very essence of what it takes to survive in John Dutton's world. And as Yellowstone nears its ending, this quote carries even more weight, especially for Kayce Dutton, whose struggle for freedom and purpose has been a defining arc of the series. From the very beginning, Kayce Dutton has been torn between 2 worlds: the violence and loyalty of the Dutton legacy, and the peaceful existence he wants for his own family. Throughout Yellowstone, Kayce's journey has been a turbulent one. He has tried to walk a path different from his father's, seeking solace with Monica and their son, Tate. But the reality of being a Dutton means he is never truly free. Whether it's being dragged back into ranch conflicts, entangled in the chaos of the reservation, or burdened by the sins of his past, Kayce can't escape the shadow of his father's empire. John Dutton knows this, and in his own way, he tries to guide Kayce. The meaner than evil line is not just advice. It is a challenge, a warning, and a declaration of what it means to be a Dutton. John has always understood that survival in the world they inhabit requires a kind of ruthlessness, a willingness to do what others cannot, while still holding onto a moral compass strong enough to protect the ones you love. He has lived by this code, and he hopes Kayce will embrace it, not because he wants his son to be a hardened man, but because he knows it's the only way he will ever truly be free. As Yellowstone comes to a close, Kayce faces his ultimate test. The battles between land developers, the reservation, the government, and the ever-looming threats to the Duttons have reached a boiling point. Kayce, once reluctant to wield power, is now forced to choose. Does he step up and fight for his family's land, or does he walk away entirely? The final moments of Yellowstone could see Kayce embracing his father's wisdom in an unexpected way. Perhaps for the first time, he realizes that freedom isn't about running. It's about standing your ground and fighting for the life you want. John Dutton's words echo in his mind, and he finally understands their true meaning. He doesn't have to be cruel, but he has to be tougher than the forces that threaten his home. He has to be meaner than evil, without losing himself in the process. Kayce's struggle mirrors that of his father, but unlike John, he still has a chance to break the cycle in a way that ensures a better future for Tate. If the series finale grants Kayce the closure he deserves, it won't be through walking away. It will be through claiming his own destiny. And in doing so, he will prove that John Dutton's legacy is not just one of pain and sacrifice, but one of resilience and unwavering love. Kevin Costner's delivery of that iconic line stands as one of the most impactful moments in Yellowstone, shaping not only John Dutton's philosophy, but also Kayce's ultimate fate. It is a reminder that in a world as brutal as theirs, true freedom doesn't come from avoiding conflict, but from facing it head-on, with love and conviction as your guiding forces. And in the end, that may be the greatest lesson John ever gives his son. In the sprawling saga of Yellowstone, Kevin Costner's John Dutton stands as a towering force, embodying the rugged ethos of the West with every gravelly word and measured stare. Of all his quotable moments throughout the series, few resonate more powerfully than his cold, calculated words in Season 3, Episode 9, Meaner Than Evil. It's not just a statement, it's a philosophy, a survival code etched into the Dutton legacy. And in the end, as Kayce Dutton grapples with his own freedom, those words shape his path in a way that brings greater clarity to the series' conclusion. John Dutton has always believed that survival in Montana's brutal landscape requires something beyond strength. It demands an edge sharper than morality, a willingness to do what others won't. In Meaner Than Evil, he tells Kayce, "You want to fight evil, son. You have to be meaner than evil." These words, simple yet profound, encapsulate the stark reality of the Dutton way of life. And in Yellowstone's ending, as Kayce wrestles with his loyalties, his father's words come back to him, influencing a choice that defines his future. The burden of Kayce Dutton. From the beginning, Kayce has been torn between his Dutton blood and his desire for a simpler life with his wife, Monica, and their son, Tate. Unlike his father, who embraces the ranch as both fortress and battlefield, Kayce longs for something beyond its unrelenting violence. And yet, time and again, he is pulled back into the fight. By duty, by love, by an unshakable sense of obligation. Yellowstone's final chapters force Kayce to make a choice, to remain bound to his family's war for the ranch, or to break free. John, knowing the weight his son carries, does not beg him to stay. Instead, he reminds him of the hard truths that define their world. He doesn't need to plead for Kayce's loyalty. He simply offers the wisdom forged from a lifetime of battle. If you want peace, sometimes you have to wage war first. And if you're going to fight, you better be meaner than what's coming at you. The meaning of freedom. Freedom for Kayce has always been elusive. As a Navy SEAL, he fought under a flag that promised it, but found himself burdened by the horrors of war. As a husband and father, he sought it in the quiet of the reservation, only to be drawn back into bloodshed. And as a Dutton, freedom is an impossibility, because being a Dutton means being hunted, always looking over your shoulder.